In this video, we are going to look at modifiers in Blender. So before we get started, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So first things first, you need to know what a modifier is. So a modifier is when you edit a object in Blender or a primitive shape in Blender without ruining its geometry in a non-destructive way. So editing it in a non-destructive way. So I'm gonna show you some modifiers on a cube. So I'm gonna move my 3D cursor over somewhere here. So I'm gonna show you some modifiers on this cube right here. So I'm gonna grab it on the Z-axis and move it up. So the first modifier I'm gonna show you is the array modifier. So to add a modifier, you have to head on to your properties panel over here on the bottom right, and then you have to click this wrench icon. It's going to be adding some modifier. This is where you add modifiers to your object. So now I'm going to add modifier, and you can go into generate and then array modifier. Now what does the array modifier do? It basically creates duplicates of that specific object without adding actual geometry to it. So let's just increase the relative offset for the factor x, increase it to like 2, so we can actually see the space between the cubes. And then the count is 2 currently. We can change it to, let's say, 10. As you can see, it added 10 cubes on the x-axis without actually adding any geometry. They're just instances. So if we go into the edit mode, to tab into edit mode, if we just edit our original cube, let's just edit it, it will edit all the other cubes. We can only have to edit one cube. Look at that. That looks super, super, super cool. Okay. Now, if you apply the modifier, that is when I think you can get control. There's going to be one object. Now you can control each and one of them alone. Okay, when you apply the modifier. Okay, so let's delete that and let's add in a cube again. And now I'm going to show you a bevel modifier. Now the bevel modifier is the same thing as going to edit mode and just doing Control B, selecting the edge loop, and then doing Control B to bevel a specific edge loop like that. But the bevel modifier instead will bevel every single edge in your mesh. So let's go into add modifier, and it's going to be the bevel modifier, and it's going to be beveled each edge. We can increase the amount like that, and we can also increase the segments. And look at that, it smoothed the edges. And this is a very good way to not add any geometry, because if you go to edit mode, it's just still that one little edge, just like that. And if you want to go and see how many vertices there are, you can just apply the modifier, and you will see that if you apply the modifier, you're going to see the amount of edges you got to smooth that specific edge. So I would always recommend do not apply the modifier unless you have to edit something or you have to do it. Okay, I would never apply a modifier unless you really have to do something with it. So now we're going to look at a monkey. Now when you're in the monkey, we're going to now look at the Subdivision Surface Modifier with the monkey. Now what does the Subdivision Surface Modifier do? It adds extra geometry to something. So let's just add a cube over here, and we're going to add a Subdivision Surface Modifier to this. Subdivision Surface, it's going to add extra geometry to this. So let's increase this level viewport and the render as well to 3. As you can see, it's smoothed out the faces and the edges, so then we can create a little bowl, as you can see. But if you go into edit mode, it's still going to be like that. Now if we look at the monkey right now, if we go and add a Subdivision Surface Modifier to it, right now it's very low poly. But if we actually add a Subdivision Surface Modifier to this, it will actually smooth it out, because it has lots more faces. So add a Subdivision Surface Modifier. As you can see, the level viewport is only 1, and it looks super smoothed out. Let's just change it to 3, and look at that. It is before and after. Before, after. Look at that. And then we can shade it smooth. And then lastly, I just want to show you the mirror modifier quickly. So let's just add in a UV sphere. And then I'm going to show you something, a empty. Now an empty is basically a plain axis that you use. So an empty is like an axis that you use that cannot be rendered in your scene. That is not rendered in your scene, it's invisible, but you can only see in the viewport. And we're going to make that our mirror line. So let's add in the mirror modifier. You can also search it, mirror modifier. And then we're gonna select our mirror object, click the picker, and our mirror object is gonna be empty. And then it's gonna mirror it on the x-axis according to our mirror line. I hope you know in your maths that there's a mirror line where you mirror a specific object in your x or y axis. So we just change it to the y. Let's quickly move it across, and as you can see, it looks super good. And that is the mirror modifier to mirror stuff. So now we have learnt your basic modifiers. Now we're gonna add a modifier to our mushroom, so to even make it even better. So we're gonna add, as you probably guessed it, we're gonna add a subdivision surface modifier to this to smooth it out. So add modifier, generate, and subdivision surface modifier. Let us change the level viewport to 3 and the render to 3 as well. Now the max is 6, I believe. And make sure you do not turn it to the max, otherwise if you do not have a powerful computer, it might crash. So then what we're going to do, as you can see, it might be a bit more rounded here. I do not want to be that round, so we're going to add a edge loop to like add a sharp edge to it. So we're going to do Control R to add a loop cut right here, and then quickly make it a bit more sharp. And as you can see, that looks super good. And then lastly, we do not want to see these little lines. We're going to shade it smooth to smooth it out. And let's smooth out the eyes as well. And then next thing you need to do is save it. Just do Control S to save. And then look at that. That looks super good. So this was before it being, let's just shade it flat. Before we added the subdivision surface modifier, and after we added our subdivision surface modifier. And that looks super good. So now in our next video, I'm going to show you how to add materials so we can add some colors to this, so that's not this boring grey color. So I'll see you guys in my next video, and I'll see you there.